In the quiet of night, when the world has softened and the stars are watching, we enter the hidden stories of divine women. Across deserts and rivers, temples and forests, ancient voices whisper of priestesses, goddesses, and mothers of mystery. These stories are not loud, but gentle, like the sound of flowing water. They are tales of courage, healing, and sacred light, carried through time to soothe our restless hearts tonight. If these stories bring you peace, let your spirit share it. Comment where you're listening from, or simply close your eyes and drift into rest. And if this journey helps you sleep, you are welcome to subscribe and return again. Night settles slowly over the old land. The heat of the day has passed, and now the stones of the city grow cool beneath the touch of the evening wind. Above, the sky stretches like an endless river of darkness, scattered with stars. The moon, pale and watchful, rises over Mesopotamia. Its light touches the temples, the rivers, and the quiet fields. In that gentle glow, a single figure moves. She is the moon priestess. Her robes trail across the stones like flowing water. Her steps are slow, steady, unhurried, as though time bends itself around her presence. The temple doors open for her, carved with lions, doves, and the sacred star of the goddess. Inside, the air is cool and still. Oil lamps flicker along the walls, their flames bowing to the smallest breath of wind. The scent of frankincense drifts upward, curling toward the high ceiling like a silent hymn. Shadows dance across the columns, and the silence is so deep it feels like another form of music. The moon priestess raises her hands. She does not need words at first. The silence itself is her offering. She closes her eyes, and the people who have gathered sit upon the ground, resting their heads, breathing with her. For a moment, the temple is a mirror of the night sky. Each person a star, each breath a tide. Then softly her voice begins. It is not loud. It is not a command. It is a low-flowing song carried more by feeling than by sound. She sings to the moon goddess Inanna, who wears both the crown of the heavens and the shadow of the underworld. She sings of cycles, of life and return, of light that fades and light that always comes again. Her song is a river, moving gently over stone. It speaks of women who carry water in clay jars, their steps steady on ancient paths. It speaks of mothers holding children beneath the stars. It speaks of lovers who part at dawn and meet again at dusk. Every note is a blessing, wrapped in softness. The moonlight through the temple doors begins to shift. It falls across the floor like silver silk brushing against the priestess's robe. The people bow their heads as though the light itself is touching them, healing them, blessing them. Outside, the Euphrates flows in silence. The river has carried stories for thousands of years, and tonight it listens again. It reflects the moon and the stars, as if the heavens have stooped to drink from its waters. Fishermen rest along its banks, their nets folded, their bodies at ease. Even the animals grow quiet, as though they too are listening to the hymn of the temple. The moon priestess lifts a small bowl of water. She tilts it slowly, pouring it onto the stones. The water trickles into the earth, vanishing, yet never gone. The ritual reminds those who watch that nothing is lost. The river of life always returns, carried by the moon's gentle tide. Her hands move gracefully, tracing circles in the air. Circles for the moon, circles for the seasons, circles for the womb, circles for the endless turning of time. Each movement is slow, deliberate, and filled with meaning, yet no explanation is given. It does not need to be. The body remembers what the mind does not. The lamps flicker lower. The people breathe deeper. Some close their eyes, letting the priestess's song cradle them into rest. Some watch, with tears softening their cheeks, as though old griefs are dissolving in the moonlight. Others simply sit, empty and still, as though the night has gathered them into its wide embrace. In the far distance, drums whisper, not the loud beat of war, but the soft, hollow rhythm of skin against wood. A heartbeat echoing across the desert, calling gently, patiently, like the pulse of the earth itself. The priestess listens. Her voice slows, almost to a whisper. Each word hangs in the air like a star, glowing, fading, leaving a trace of warmth behind. She sings of the goddess as mother, as daughter, as sister, as beloved. She sings of Inanna's descent into the underworld, her surrender, her silence, and her return. The people hear the story not as history, but as dream. It feels as though it is happening in this very moment, within their own souls. The temple is no longer stone. It is sky, it is river, it is the vast, endless body of the night. The moon priestess lowers her voice until it becomes breath. The words no longer matter. Only the tone, the rhythm, the softness of sound matters. Her hands fall to her sides. She stands in stillness, like a tree in moonlight, like a candle that does not move even when the air shifts. For a long moment, no one stirs. The silence itself becomes sacred. Every heart feels lighter, as though the weight of the world has been gently lifted and set aside. Then, slowly, she lifts her hand. One gesture, graceful as water. The people rise one by one with no rush, no noise, as though they too are part of the moon's slow tide. They leave the temple quietly, their steps soft, their minds at rest. The night air greets them, cool and welcoming. The priestess remains. She watches the moon climb higher, silver upon silver, until it hangs like a crown over the temple. Her face glows with the same light, calm and eternal. She whispers one last prayer, a sound so faint it is like the rustle of a leaf, the sigh of a dream. Then she bows her head and lets silence reign again. The story lingers, like fragrance after the lamp is gone. It reminds you that silence is also a song, that stillness is also a blessing, that the moon is always above you, carrying the memory of countless prayers, countless nights, countless dreams. Now as you listen, you drift into that same silence. You feel the cool stone of the temple beneath your feet, the soft glow of the moon upon your skin. You feel the weight of the day slip away, dissolving like incense smoke. You breathe slow and gentle as the priestess breathes. You rest as the temple rests. The night deepens. The stars gather. The moon glows with her quiet silver crown, and you, child of the night, float in the embrace of her light. Safe, calm, at peace. Let the story close itself now, like a soft curtain drawn across the sky. Let the silence remain like the coolness of water on stone. Let your body rest as the moon watches, as the river flows, as the priestess whispers only in dreams. Now drift onward, into sleep. The stars are waiting. The moon is near, and the silent moon priestess stands watch in your night. The night is long and kind. Over the land of Egypt, the river Nile glimmers beneath the silver touch of the moon. Its waters, wide and steady, move like a slow breath through the desert. Palms lean toward it, reeds whisper at its banks, and the air carries the scent of cool water and sand. The river is a mother, always giving, always flowing, always present. On its banks rise the temples of stone. Carved with lotus flowers and painted with stars, they stand as eternal guardians of memory. In their shadow, priests and priestesses carry their lamps, moving in silence through the night. The flames glow like small suns against the darkness, leading the way to sacred halls. There, in the golden light of torches, women gather. They are the daughters of the Nile. Some are singers, their voices soft as birds before dawn. Some are dancers, their movements gentle as flowing water. Some are priestesses, carrying the symbols of the goddess in their hands. Together, they honor the spirits who guide the land, the mothers of love, fertility, and eternal care. The first to be remembered is Isis. Her story drifts across the night like incense, slow and sweet. She is the mother, the healer, the queen of heaven and earth. Her love was so deep, it gathered the broken pieces of her beloved Osiris and made him whole again. Her power was so strong, it sheltered her son Horus, keeping him safe from the venom of serpents, from the teeth of scorpions, from the darkness that sought to swallow him. To speak her name is to whisper comfort. The women sing her praises in low, steady tones. Their chants echo against the stone, filling the halls with warmth. They sing of her wings, wide and shining, sheltering the weary. They sing of her tears, falling into the Nile, giving the river its flood, its gift of life to the land. The song is soft, yet it carries far. It drifts beyond the temple doors, past the statues of lions and falcons, past the silent guards of stone. It floats into the night air, where farmers sleep upon the earth, where mothers cradle children, where travelers rest beside their fires. All who dream under this sky are touched by the voice of Isis, whether they know it or not. The daughters of the Nile also call upon Hathor. She is the goddess of joy, of music, of love's sweet dance. Her presence is gentle as milk, radiant as sunrise over the water. She is the one who greets the souls of the dead, placing them in her arms. feeding them with kindness before they travel to the beyond. The women lift their sistrums, instruments of bronze and silver. With soft hands they shake them, and the sound is like a soft river of bells, like wind moving through shells, like light made into music. The sistrum calls forth happiness, driving away shadows, inviting only tenderness to remain. They dance slowly, their feet barely touching the ground. Their arms move in circles, echoing the circles of the sun, the moon, the eternal river. Each motion is a blessing, each step a prayer without words. Even in silence, the story of Hathor is told. She is the beauty of life, the sweetness of song, the comfort of love given without end. The pharaohs, rulers of Egypt, are guided by such women. Behind the throne, behind the crown, always stands the presence of the goddess. Queens and priestesses whisper wisdom, carrying secrets older than kings. They remind the ruler that power is not only strength, but care, that the land does not thrive on command alone, but on the gentle balance of love, fertility, and protection. Through the long corridors of the palace, women walk with quiet dignity. They bring food to the altars, water to the shrines, flowers to the statues. Each gift is small, yet filled with endless meaning. The flowers fade, the water dries, but the act remains eternal, an unbroken chain of devotion. In the distance, the Nile moves on. Its waters reflect the stars, as though heaven itself has bent down to drink. The river is a teacher, reminding all who watch that life is a journey without end. It rises, it falls, it renews itself again and again. So too do the daughters of the Nile, carrying the rhythm of eternity within their voices, their steps, their care. The temple grows quieter as the night deepens. The torches burn lower, the chants soften, yet the air is thick with peace, with the presence of the unseen. The goddesses linger, though unseen. Isis watches, wings wide as the sky. Hathor smiles, her laughter like a breeze across the water. And the women, mortal yet eternal in spirit, breathe with them, rest with them, dream with them. You may hear it now if you listen closely. The soft ringing of the sistrum, the low hum of the chant, the river's gentle murmur against the shore. It all becomes one sound, one breath, one endless song of life. The night holds you as the Nile held Egypt. You are safe. You are carried. You are guided by hands older than memory. Let the river flow through you now. Let the chant soften your heart. Let the goddesses keep watch, their presence gentle as moonlight on still water. The daughters of the Nile rest, and so may you. The temple sleeps, and so may you. The river flows, and so may you. Now drift onward, carried by waters that never end. Rest as the stars return. Rest as the moon watches. Rest in the arms of the Nile. Night has returned, and the mountains breathe with quiet stillness. The sky above is velvet dark, brushed with stars that seem to lean closer, listening. A thin crescent moon hangs over the high cliffs of Delphi, where ancient stones hold the memory of prayer, of silence, of voices that were not quite human and not quite divine. The air is cool here. It smells of pine and wild herbs growing along the path. Crickets sing their small, steady hymn, a lullaby to the earth. A soft wind moves down from the mountain, carrying with it the distant murmur of springs hidden among the rocks. Every sound is gentle, every movement is slow. At the center of this sacred place, a temple waits. Its columns rise like pale trees, carved from stone, yet glowing faintly under the moon. Torches flicker at its entrance, and their flames bow low to the night air. Within the temple, shadows breathe upon the walls, carrying stories of gods, of mortals, of all that lies between. Here sits the Pythia, the oracle of Apollo. She's wrapped in white, her head bowed, her breath steady as the mountain itself. Before her, a bowl of water reflects the moonlight. A laurel branch rests at her side, still fragrant, still alive with the spirit of the tree. She is silent, yet her silence speaks. The people who come to her do not speak loudly. They bow, they wait, they listen. The air is heavy with expectation, but it is not tense. It is hushed, reverent, soft as the stillness before dawn. The temple feels alive, as if each stone is leaning forward, ready to carry the sound of her voice when it comes. She breathes, slowly, deeply. The air around her changes, as though touched by an unseen hand. A thin mist drifts upward from the sacred ground beneath, curling like smoke, rising like memory. Her body sways, gentle as a reed in water. Then her lips part, and sound emerges. Not rushed, not sharp, but flowing. Like the whisper of a river in the night, her words are not always clear. They are like fragments of dream, pieces of vision wrapped in mystery. Yet those who listen feel them sink deep into their hearts. They do not hear with their ears alone, but with something older, something quieter inside. She speaks of journeys not yet taken. She speaks of choices standing in shadow and light. She speaks of rivers that split into two paths and the soul that must walk upon them. Her voice is like mist. It curls and vanishes. It leaves behind not certainty but wonder. The people bow again. They do not ask her to explain. They do not demand clarity. They take the words as they are, carrying them like seeds in the pocket of the heart. In time, the seeds will grow, and the meaning will reveal itself. For now, it is enough simply to have heard. The oracle rests again. Her eyes close. Her body grows still. The mist fades back into the earth, leaving only silence, only breath. The temple waits with her, breathing in time, resting in the same rhythm. Beyond the walls, the night is deep. Owls drift on silent wings. The mountain springs murmur softly, feeding the land below. Somewhere far away, shepherds lie sleeping beside their flocks, and travelers dream by the side of the road. All of them are held, unknowingly, by the same moonlight, the same silence, the same breath. The Pythia remains, her presence a bridge between worlds. She belongs to the moment, yet also to eternity. Her words vanish like mist, yet linger forever in the air. You too may listen, even now. Not with your ears, but with your heart. Her voice is not bound by time or place. It is a breath that travels across centuries, across dreams, across the quiet night. She whispers to you of peace. She whispers of stillness. She whispers of rest waiting, always waiting, just beyond the noise of day. Her prophecy tonight is gentle. It does not speak of war, nor of fear, nor of endings. It speaks only of return, like the moon returning after darkness, like the river returning after drought, like sleep returning after long hours of wakefulness. You drift with her words. You follow them like a path through the forest, soft underfoot, lined with stars above. You breathe with her breath. You rest with her silence. The temple fades into dream. The mist curls once more into the earth. The torches burn low, their flames small as the heart's last waking thoughts. The oracle sleeps now. The mountain sleeps. The night holds all things in its wide embrace, and you, child of the quiet, are safe within it. Let the oracle's breath linger in you, soft and steady. Let it carry you deeper into rest. Let it remind you that mystery does not need answers. It only needs peace. It only needs silence. It only needs sleep. Now drift onward as the stars return. Now rest as the mountain breathes. Now close your eyes as the oracle's voice fades into dream. The desert is wide and endless. Its sands stretch beneath the soft silver of the moon. The night air is still, quiet as breath. The stars gather, each one like a lamp set upon the sky. Here, in this quiet place, the world falls away, stone and sand, wind and silence. Nothing else remains. It is a place where the soul listens. It is a place where wisdom grows like small flowers in the cracks of stone. In the early days of Christian faith, there were women who chose this silence. They walked away from crowded cities, from the noise of markets and the pull of courts. They sought something deeper, a stillness that could not be touched by gold, by power, or by fear. These women were called the Desert Mothers. Their homes were caves, small huts, or simple shelters of woven reeds. Their walls were not made of marble or cedar. Their walls were the wind and the stars. Their doors opened onto the vast horizon, where the desert sun rose each morning and fell each evening like a golden prayer. Listen now. The night folds over you like a soft cloak. The desert stretches before your closed eyes. You can almost hear the faint rustle of palms in the distance and the slow, patient song of sand moving beneath the breeze. One of these women, Amma Syncletica, spoke softly to those who sought her. She said, "In the beginning there is struggle, but later there is joy like honey." Her words were simple, like a stream in the desert, yet they carried a weight that nourished thirsty hearts. Another, Amasera, lived by the river Nile for 60 years. She said, "I put out my foot to step upon the serpent, and it has no power." Her strength was quiet, not the strength of warriors, but the strength of stillness, the strength of one who will not be moved by storm or shadow. The desert mothers did not raise swords. They raised silence. They did not build palaces. They built prayer. Each grain of sand beneath their feet became a reminder of time, endless, shifting, eternal. Each grain was a breath, a heartbeat, a prayer whispered into the wide sky. Now picture this. The moonlight falls across the desert floor, painting the sand in silver lines. In a small cave, a single lamp burns, its flame soft, steady, like the pulse of life itself. A woman sits in quiet, her face turned toward the flame, her heart turned toward the eternal. Outside, the wind drifts gently. It carries the smell of dust and the sweetness of palm leaves. The desert fox moves quietly across the dunes, its paws leaving faint trails in the sand. All is hushed, all is slow, all is waiting. The desert mothers taught that wisdom is like the desert itself. At first it seems empty, but as you sit within it, you find it is full of sky, full of silence, full of the voice that speaks without sound. Their prayers were not long or adorned. They were like sighs, simple, gentle, like the breath that moves in and out of you now. One mother said, "A house full of words is like a marketplace, but a heart full of silence is like a garden." And so she sat in that silence, watering her garden with each breath. As you rest now, imagine that silence. It moves across you like soft wind. It lays down upon you like warm sand at night. It carries you gently without hurry. In the desert, time flows differently. The sun rises and the sun falls. The stars appear and the stars fade. But beneath it all, the silence remains. The women of the desert found in that silence a river of peace. They let it wash over them day by day until their hearts were clear as glass. Another of the mothers, Amma Theodora, said, "Let us strive to enter the narrow path. Just as the trees, if they have not stood before the winter's storms, cannot bear fruit, so it is with the soul." Her words fell like seeds scattered across the sand. Those who heard them carried them away, and the seeds grew in quiet places. The desert itself was their teacher. The heat taught endurance. The silence taught listening. The endless horizon taught patience. Even the stars, so far above, taught them the gift of distance, that not all things must be grasped. Some are only to be gazed upon in wonder. Now rest in this image. You are walking slowly across the sands. Your steps are soft. The wind is cool against your face. The stars shimmer above like silver bells. In the distance, a small flame glows. It is the lamp of a desert mother. She sits, waiting, not to teach, not to command, but simply to share the silence. You sit beside her. No words are needed. The silence itself is the lesson. You feel your thoughts slow, like a stream that settles after rain. You feel your body loosen, like earth softening underwater. You feel your heart grow wide, like the desert sky that stretches without end. This was their gift. Not temples of stone, not treasures of gold, but the reminder that stillness is a treasure. That silence is a home. That prayer is as simple as breath, and so their wisdom lives on, carried not in books of power, but in whispers, in stories, in quiet hearts. The night deepens now. The sands grow darker. The stars wheel slowly overhead. The lamp of the desert mother fades, its flame resting at last. Let the silence stay with you. Let the calm of the desert move through you. Each breath is a grain of sand. Each heartbeat is a star. Each moment carries you deeper into rest. Now drift onward. The desert is still. The mothers are still. And you too are still. Sleep in that silence. Sleep in that peace. For the night is long, and the stars return. The forest lies quiet. Shadows stretch beneath tall trees. The air is heavy with moss and damp earth. A silver moon rests between the branches, its light spilling down like liquid silk. In this soft, endless night, a hush moves through the leaves. The song of crickets rises and falls. A hidden owl calls from the distance, and beneath it all, you feel the deep pulse of the earth, slow and steady, as though the forest itself is breathing. It is here, within this green cathedral, that ancient hearts once gathered. They came with offerings of milk and honey. They came with songs carried on drums.
They came to honor the serpent goddess. She was mother and mystery.
She was both feared and loved. Her form coiled and uncoiled through the stories of many peoples. She moved like water. She shed her skin like the moon shedding its shadow. She brought both life and death, and through her cycles, the world was kept whole. The serpent has always been a symbol. In its winding body, people saw the turning of rivers. In its silent eyes they saw wisdom hidden beyond words, and in its shedding skin they saw renewal, a promise that endings are never final, but doorways to another beginning. Sit for a moment with this image. The serpent rests at the heart of the forest. Her body glistens with moonlight. Her scales shimmer with green, silver, and gold. Her eyes are calm, steady as stars. She does not move in haste. She does not strike in anger. She simply watches, ancient, patient, eternal. Long ago, in temples deep with incense and chant, women and men would bow to her. They called her mother. They called her healer. They called her guardian of the underworld. Her breath was said to heal the sick. Her gaze was said to open hidden truths. Her dance was said to circle the world, keeping the oceans and stars in place. In Crete, she was seen in the hands of priestesses, lifted high as a sign of fertility and strength. In India, she was the Naga, serpent beings who guarded treasures and rivers. In Egypt, she was Wajet, the protector with the hood of the cobra, her image wrapped around crowns watching over kings. And in forests farther east, she was Mother of Rain, Mother of Harvest, Mother of the healing spring. Everywhere she appeared, she carried the same gentle truth, that life is a circle, never broken, always turning. Now picture the forest again. The trees sway as though bowing. The night air shimmers with dew. The serpent goddess moves slowly through the ferns. Her body does not frighten. It soothes. Her movements are waves, calm and eternal, guiding the rhythm of the world. Those who followed her knew her as a healer. They mixed herbs in clay bowls. They whispered prayers over wounds. They traced her coiled form in carvings upon stone. They believed her spirit slipped into the roots of trees, into the veins of plants, into the waters that spring from hidden wells. To drink of such water was to drink of her blessing. To rest upon the earth was to lie within her embrace. The serpent's tongue flickers like a flame. It tastes the air. It reads what cannot be seen. And so she became a symbol of prophecy. Her body curved like rivers of time. Her eyes seemed to pierce the veil of tomorrow. Those who listened closely felt their dreams stirred with visions. The serpent did not speak in words. She spoke in signs, in feelings, in the quiet shifting of the heart. Some feared her, as people often fear what is both powerful and tender. Yet even in fear they knew she was a mother. Her bite could end, but her breath could heal. She held the balance of both, and in her balance the world itself was safe. Now breathe slowly. Feel the circle of the breath in and out. Each breath is a cycle. Each breath is a serpent coiling and uncoiling. Each breath is her gift. In the forest, the fires have burned low. The drums are soft. The people rest, heads bowed, hearts calm. The serpent goddess circles them unseen. She protects them, not with walls of stone, but with her presence. Vast as the night, deep as the earth, her scales catch the moon. They glimmer like countless stars. To watch her move is to watch the galaxy itself, spiraling, flowing, endless. She is the circle in the sky. She is the circle beneath the soil. She is the circle within your chest. Her story whispers through time. It comes in symbols, in dreams, in the quiet knowing that life is not straight, but round. We rise, we fall, we rise again. We shed what has grown old and step forward new. This is her wisdom, simple as water, endless as night. Now let the forest grow still again. The serpent goddess curls upon herself, resting in the moss, eyes half closed. The people sleep in her care, and you too are wrapped in her circle, safe, quiet, eternal. Let your breath follow hers. Let your heart rest in her rhythm. The cycle turns. The night deepens. The stars return, and you drift onward, carried in the coils of peace. The night unfolds like a lotus. Petals of silence spread across the dark sky. A warm breeze carries the faint scent of jasmine, and a soft rhythm hums beneath the stillness, as though the earth itself is breathing, waiting, listening. In the distance, the stars shimmer, their light like silver dust upon the velvet night. The rivers sleep under the gaze of the moon. Palm trees sway in slow motion, their shadows dancing across temple walls. Torches flicker like fireflies, their flames bowing and rising in a rhythm older than time. It is in this tender hour that the presence of Shakti awakens. Not with noise, not with haste, but with a pulse, a current that flows unseen, like the quiet heartbeat of the cosmos. Shakti, the living force, the sacred feminine. She is the energy that moves the universe. Without her, nothing stirs. With her, all things breathe, grow, and transform. Some knew her as Durga, the radiant mother astride a lion, her many arms holding weapons not of anger, but of protection, guiding her children through shadows. Some saw her as Kali, her dance wild and free, her steps shaking loose the chains of fear, reminding the world that death too is part of life's endless turning. Others bowed to her as Parvati, gentle as mountain snow, soft as the river's song, yet steady as stone. But all names returned to one truth. Shakti is the dance of creation, the dance of destruction, the dance of renewal. She is the rhythm that never ends. Picture a temple courtyard. Its stones are warm beneath bare feet. At its center burns a small fire, its flames curling like golden serpents. Around it, women in flowing red garments move in circles, their hands lifted to the sky. Bells chime at their ankles. Their voices rise in low chant, a hymn carried on the night air. And as they move, the fire seems to dance with them, shadows bowing on the temple walls. This is not a dance to be watched. It is a dance to be felt. Each step touches the earth, awakening the soil. Each clap calls to the heavens, echoing like distant thunder. Each turn releases the old, welcoming the new. In their movements, you see rivers flowing, winds shifting, seasons turning. The whole world is within their steps. Close your eyes and drift into this rhythm. The drums are soft, beating like a heart. The chanting hums like a lullaby. The night itself begins to sway, as though even the stars have joined this sacred circle. In the stories of old, it is said that when Shakti dances, she holds the balance of creation. Her feet press down darkness, her hands lift light, her body spins the cycles of time. The world is born, grows and dissolves, all within her eternal dance. This is not a dance of fear. It is a dance of love, for love is what gives life, what destroys illusion, what makes space for renewal. Even in her fiercest form, Shakti is compassion. Even in her wildest steps, she is the mother. Even in her silence, she is song. Now imagine yourself standing in that temple courtyard. The air is warm against your skin. The fire's glow flickers in your eyes. The dancers move past you, their steps light, their presence timeless. You feel the vibration of their rhythm rise through the stone, through your feet, through your body, until it rests in your chest, beating with your heart. You are not apart from this dance. You are within it. Every breath you take is Shakti. Every thought, every dream, every tear, every smile, all are her movements, her energy flowing through you. She has always been here. She will always be here. Durga's lion roars in the distance, its sound deep and steady, like thunder rolling across valleys. Kali's laughter ripples through the night, not cruel, but liberating, as though she cuts away every chain that ever held you. And Parvati, gentle and kind, rests her hand upon the mountain, her gaze calm as dawn. Each form is a petal. Each petal belongs to the same flower. The flower is Shakti, and Shakti is life. Let yourself drift with her dance. See how it is never still, never rigid. It is soft, flowing, endless. It is the river carrying you to the sea. It is the flame that warms you in the night. It is the breeze that stirs the leaves. It is the soil that holds your steps. You do not need to move. You do not need to try. Already you are part of this rhythm. Already you are held within her song. Your heartbeat joins the drum. Your breath joins the chant. You are safe within her dance, as countless generations have been before. And now, as the fire burns low, the dancers slow their steps. Their voices soften. Their hands lower to their sides. The courtyard grows still. Only the stars continue to move slowly across the sky. Shakti is still here. Not loud, not fierce, but quiet, gentle, resting like a flame within your own heart. She does not leave. She only changes form, becoming the silence of night, becoming the comfort of sleep, becoming the peace that wraps you now. The lotus of the night closes. Its petals fold around you. The drums fade. The chanting dissolves. Only the soft hum of the earth remains. Let the dance carry you onward. Let the rhythm lull you deeper. Let the Eternal Mother hold you in her boundless arms. Now rest. The stars return. The night grows tender. The dance continues within you, forever gentle, forever whole. In the quiet stillness of night, the sound of a soft fire crackles in the distance. Its glow flickers gently, stretching shadows across smooth stone walls. Outside, the stars shine above the hills of ancient Greece, bright and watchful, as if they too are listening to the song of the flame. The hearth stands at the center, steady and warm, its circle of fire tended by careful hands. This flame is not only light, but presence, sacred, eternal, carrying with it the memory of Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. Her spirit rests wherever the fire is kindled, and her blessing is found in the smallest of rituals, in the simplest warmth of home. You drift closer in thought, as though the fire is waiting for you. Its warmth touches the quiet edges of your spirit, and you feel the safety it has carried for countless generations. Around such flames, families gathered, meals were shared, prayers were whispered. And though the world outside shifted with wars, storms, and changes of time, the hearth remained constant, a place where the divine and the ordinary lived together. Hestia, they said, was gentle. She was not a goddess of battle or wild storms. She did not ride across the sky or shake the earth. She was steady, patient, like the heartbeat of a home. While others sought glory and triumph, Hestia was content to guard the flame that kept life alive. In every house, a small fire was lit in her honor. In every temple, her flame burned at the center. The Greeks believed that without her, no gathering could begin, no sacrifice could be complete. She was the quiet presence before the feast, the silence that made the music sweeter. She was the warmth that made walls into a home. Picture the women of long ago, moving softly through their kitchens at dawn. They bend near the hearth, stirring the embers, coaxing flame to life with careful breath. The air smells of bread rising, herbs crackling, oil warming in clay pots. As the fire steadies, they whisper a prayer to Hestia, not grand words, but gentle ones, gratitude, protection, continuity. And in that small act, the goddess is near. The hearth was more than stone and fire. It was the center of belonging. When a child was born, they were carried to the hearth so that Hestia could bless their life. When travelers returned, they touched the fire to feel welcomed again. And when a family broke bread, it was said Hestia's spirit sat with them, silent yet present. Even in temples dedicated to other gods, Zeus, Athena, Apollo, the flame of Hestia burned at the center. She was the beginning and the end of every prayer, the first honored, the last remembered. Her role was quiet but unshakable, like the glowing coal that keeps warmth alive through the coldest night. As you listen now, imagine yourself seated by one of those ancient fires. The floor beneath you is cool stone. The air carries the faint scent of olive wood smoke. Around you, the hush of night deepens, and the stars outside the temple windows blink like patient eyes. The fire hums softly, steady, never rushing. Your breath begins to follow its rhythm, slow, deep, gentle. There is a story told of how Hestia gave up her seat among the 12 great Olympian gods. When Dionysus rose to join them, she stepped aside willingly, offering her throne to him. She did not fight for power or recognition. Instead, she chose the hearth, the eternal flame, knowing that her place would always be at the center of life. This act showed her nature, selfless, calm, unshaken by the need for glory. Her strength was quiet, yet it touched every home, every temple, every life. Unlike the gods who raged with thunder or stirred the seas, she gave peace through stillness. She was not seen in great battles or epic tales, but in the steady comfort of firelight, in the meals that nourished, in the warmth that held families close. Her presence reminds us that divinity is not only in grand displays, but also in the gentle act of keeping the fire alive. The women of Greece understood this deeply. They became the hearth keepers in their homes, carrying forward the sacred duty of Hestia. Each morning, they lit the fire. Each evening, they tended its embers. When a flame went out, they rekindled it not with random spark, but from another sacred fire, carrying continuity like a thread across time. In their hands, the ordinary became holy. Pouring oil into a lamp became a prayer. Offering a pinch of grain to the fire became devotion. Even silence before the hearth was an act of reverence. For to sit by the fire was to sit with the goddess. Close your eyes now and imagine the sound of quiet footsteps, the crackle of wood, the soft sweep of ash. Imagine women in simple robes, their faces calm in the glow, their movements slow and purposeful. Each gesture is unhurried, each moment filled with care. In this rhythm, life itself feels soothed. The hearth was also the beginning of community. In every city there burned a public fire, tended carefully, never allowed to die. This was Hestia's flame for all people. From it, new households took their first spark. When colonies were founded far away, The settlers carried embers from the city's hearth across land and sea so that Hestia's presence would be with them in their new homes. Through fire, connection lived on, villages linked by flame, generations joined by the same warmth, the past flowing into the present into the future, like a candle lighting another, never diminishing, only multiplying. As you drift deeper into rest, let that image surround you. A chain of flames across time, across distance, a soft light passed from hand to hand, heart to heart. It glows in the temples, in kitchens, in cottages, in palaces. And it glows now in your memory, steady and safe. In the silence of night, the hearth is more than fire. It becomes a heartbeat, a rhythm that reminds you of safety, belonging, continuity. You sit by its warmth, and the world outside grows softer, quieter. The Greeks believed that as long as Hestia's fire burned, the home was alive, the city was strong, the spirit was connected. To let it fade was unthinkable, for in its light lay trust and peace. Perhaps this is why the hearth still feels sacred, even in places where her name has been forgotten. The fire remains a symbol of gathering, of warmth, of life shared. It continues to draw people together in circles of light, just as it did thousands of years ago. Now, in this moment, the hearth of Hestia is before you. It burns without haste. Its glow is steady, its warmth tender. The shadows it casts are long and soft, like a blanket wrapping the room. You listen to the fire, its quiet song. Each crackle is like a whisper, each flicker is like a breath. The longer you remain, the more the world outside dissolves, until there is only the flame, the warmth, the goddess near. Breathe with the fire, slow, gentle, endless. As the night deepens, let Hestia's flame linger in your heart. It is not a blaze of power, but a steady light, calm and constant. It holds the memory of countless homes, countless lives, countless prayers. Now, as your body rests, imagine her presence at your side like a soft guardian. She asks nothing, demands nothing. She simply glows, eternal, at the center of your being. The fire steadies. Your breath slows. The night enfolds you like a cloak, and so the chapter closes, quiet, warm, timeless. Let us drift onward now, carried gently by the flame. Now rest as the stars return, and the goddess keeps the hearth alive. Night folds softly over green hills, and a silver mist drifts low across the valleys. The moon is round and pale, gliding through slow-moving clouds, her light touching every blade of grass, every leaf heavy with dew. In the distance, the sound of a stream murmurs through the silence, a constant song that has flowed since time was young. You find yourself walking along a quiet forest path. The air is cool, filled with the gentle scent of moss and oak. Around you, trees rise like tall guardians, their branches weaving together above, making the forest feel like a vast temple of living wood. The stillness of the night carries you deeper until the path opens to a sacred grove, hidden and timeless. Here, maidens of the Celtic lands once gathered. They were keepers of the grove, guardians of wells and springs, singers of old songs that wove the world together. Their footsteps were soft on the earth, their voices like threads of wind. They honored the turning of the seasons, whispering prayers to the spirits of earth and sky. In the center of the grove rests a stone circle, ancient and worn. Moss clings to its edges, and ferns curl near its base. This was a place of meeting, where the maidens came to tend the sacred fire or pour offerings of milk and honey for the unseen ones. They believed the forest itself was alive, every tree a soul, every stream a spirit, every stone a keeper of memory. The maidens moved with care, as though each step carried meaning. Their robes were simple, woven from wool, dyed with herbs and plants. Around their necks hung small charms carved from bone, amber, or smooth river stones. They carried bowls of clear water, garlands of flowers, baskets filled with herbs that healed and soothed. In their presence, the air seemed brighter, touched with something beyond the ordinary. Imagine their voices rising now in song, low, melodic, repeating like waves upon a shore. The sound carries through the grove, weaving with the rustle of leaves and the call of night birds. Their music was not made to impress, but to align, to bring balance between the human heart and the wide breathing world. Among their most sacred duties was tending the wells. Across the Celtic lands, wells and springs were believed to be gateways to the divine. The water was not just for drinking, It was spirit-made liquid, a gift of healing. People traveled from far to visit them, to bathe, to leave offerings, to ask for health and renewal. The maidens watched over these wells. At dawn they drew water in bronze cups, lifting it as an offering to the sky. At dusk they sang as they poured milk into the water, honoring the earth below. Sometimes they tied ribbons to nearby trees, letting prayers flutter in the wind like soft voices carried to the other world. In your mind, you see one such maiden kneeling by a clear spring. The moonlight glimmers on the surface and the water seems to glow from within. She dips her hand gently, her fingers moving as if greeting an old friend. Then she sprinkles drops on the earth, whispering words you cannot hear but feel, words of blessing, words of care. The water ripples softly, carrying her prayer into the unseen. The maidens were healers too. They knew the herbs of forest and meadow, the leaves that cooled fevers, the roots that calmed pain, the blossoms that soothed weary minds. In their hands, plants became more than medicine. They became companions, allies, part of the great web of life. When the sick came to the grove, the maidens would prepare salves and teas, chanting as they worked. Their healing was slow and gentle, like the turning of the seasons. They believed that true health came not only from curing the body, but also from aligning it with the rhythms of nature. Imagine the scene. A maiden grinding herbs in a stone mortar, the sound like a soft heartbeat in the quiet grove. Beside her a small fire glows, warming the air. She stirs honey into the mixture, her voice humming a steady tune. When she lifts the cup to your lips, it carries the taste of earth and sky together, sweet, bitter, alive. The Celtic world turned on the rhythm of the seasons, and the maidens honored each turning with ceremony. In spring they scattered flower petals into streams, asking for growth and fertility. In summer, they danced barefoot in meadows, lifting their arms to the sun. In autumn, they wove garlands of wheat and corn, thanking the earth for its abundance. And in winter, they lit fires in the darkest nights, calling back the light. Each festival was both sacred and joyful. The maidens sang, but so did the people. They ate together, laughed together, and shared the warmth of the fire. Through these cycles, they remembered that life itself was a circle, always returning, always renewing. In your heart, feel this turning now, the wheel of the year, moving slow, steady, unbroken, like the breath you take in and the breath you let go. There are whispers, too, of maidens who could speak with the unseen. They listen not only with ears, but with spirit. The rustle of leaves, the call of the owl, the shimmer of stars, all carried messages. To them, the world was not silent, but always speaking, always guiding. Some say they could slip between the worlds. At certain nights of the year, when the veil was thin, they entered the other world through the grove or the well. There they met spirits, ancestors, and gods, returning with visions or wisdom for their people. These tales are wrapped in mist, part myth, part memory. But in them, one feels the presence of mystery, the sense that the maidens stood at a threshold few could cross. Picture yourself beneath the trees, the mist gathering low. The night deepens, yet you feel no fear. Instead, the forest hums around you, a soft vibration, as though you are not alone but gently held in the arms of the unseen. The maidens of the grove remind us that the sacred is not far away, hidden in unreachable heights. It is here, in the water that flows, in the fire that warms, in the soil beneath your feet. It is in the cycle of seasons, the taste of herbs, the song of night winds. Their lives were quiet but powerful. They did not rule with swords or crowns, but with care, with presence, with the deep knowing that tending a fire, a well, or a grove was no small act. It was a way of holding the world together. In their soft footsteps, you sense a lesson, that healing is found in gentleness, that strength can live in silence, that the earth itself is alive and waiting to be honored. The fire in the stone circle dims, the songs grow softer, the night stretches long. The maidens step back into the mist, their forms blending with the trees, their voices fading like a dream. Yet the grove remains, alive with their memory, glowing with their touch. You sit for a while longer, breathing with the forest. The stream sings on, the stars glimmer above, and the earth holds you steady. In the quiet, you feel the presence of the Celtic maidens, still here, still tending, still whispering to the spirits of earth and sky. The night deepens. Your body grows heavier, your breath slower, as though you too are part of the circle, resting within the eternal rhythm of the seasons. Let the grove cradle you now. Let the well reflect your dreams. Let the forest keep its watch as you drift into gentle sleep. And as the stars return, let us drift onward, carried softly by the voices of the maidens, by the fire, by the water, by the endless turning of the earth. The night has deepened, and the air is quiet as velvet. Above, the moon drifts slow across a sea of stars, her silver face hidden now and then by passing clouds. The world feels hushed as though waiting. The trees stand still, their branches dark against the sky. A faint wind stirs, carrying the scent of earth and the cool touch of unseen hands. You walk along a lonely path, the soil soft beneath your feet. The way is dim, for this is not a road of day, but of night. It leads you toward a crossroads, 3 paths opening wide, each one slipping into shadow. The stillness deepens, and for a moment you pause, sensing that you are not alone. At the center of the crossroads stands a figure. She holds torches, their flames rising like quiet suns. One torch she lifts before her, lighting the way ahead. The other she lowers, casting a glow over the ground. Her eyes, dark and endless, seem to see both the world before and the world beyond. She is Hecate, mother of shadows, guardian of thresholds, guide of souls. Hecate was honored in the silence of the night, when the world seemed thinner, more open to mysteries. She stood at the edge of places, where one thing ended and another began. Doorways, crossroads, the meeting of land and sea. To the ancients, such places were alive with possibility and with risk. The goddess was there, a steady flame in the dark, leading wanderers through unseen paths. Her torches were not only light, but symbols of awareness. With them, she revealed what eyes could not see. With them, she showed that, even in shadow, one was never truly lost. Many came to her with offerings of bread, honey, or wine, left at the crossroads with whispered prayers. They asked her to protect their journeys, to guide their choices, to guard the fragile thread between life and death. Imagine these offerings now. Simple bowls set down with care, a flicker of candle flame beside them. The air thick with incense, rising like mist. A gentle rustle of leaves, as though the night itself is answering. Hecate was not only a goddess of the road, but also of the soul's hidden landscape. She walked with those who stood in moments of decision when one life turned into another. She guided spirits through the underworld, her torches showing safe passage where shadows were thick. She was fierce, yet she was comforting, both feared and beloved. Some saw her as threefold: maiden, mother, and crone. Each face turned toward a different path, each carrying wisdom of a different time. The maiden was beginnings, fresh as dawn. The mother was fullness, steady as the noonday sun. The crone was endings, calm as twilight, yet holding the seeds of renewal. Together, these faces revealed the whole circle of life, all phases woven into one. In the quiet of the crossroads, imagine her presence now, threefold and whole, her torches lifting, her gaze eternal. You feel her not as threat, but as deep shelter, like the night sky itself. The ancients believed Hecate moved with the dogs of the night. Their howls were not of fear, but of announcement. When the wind carried their cries, people said the goddess was near, walking with her companions, carrying her light across the unseen paths. To hear them was to be reminded that the world was wider than the eye could see. That mystery walked close at hand. In the hush of your own heart, hear that faint echo, the distant cry of a dog in the night, not sharp, but soft, fading into silence. It feels like a reminder that you too are being watched, guided, held within a circle of care. Hecate's role as a guide was not only for those lost in darkness. She was also the keeper of magic, of dreams, of hidden knowledge. To stand with her was to stand at the edge of the known, gazing into the unknown with courage. In candlelit temples, her priestesses whispered chants, drawing her presence into the circle. With herbs, with smoke, with soft voices, they asked her to reveal what lay beyond the veil. Picture a small altar now, stone worn smooth, candles burning low, bowls filled with fragrant herbs. The air trembles with stillness, and a shadow moves at the edge of the flame. There is no fear, only wonder. The night opens like a curtain, and the unseen steps gently into view. Her torches remind us that even when all seems hidden, light exists. The flame is not harsh, not blinding, but soft, like the glow of lanterns along a quiet shore. It is enough to guide each step, enough to remind you that you are never alone. Think of your own life as a series of crossroads. At times you stand unsure, looking down paths that stretch into mist. Hecate's presence is there, not to choose for you, but to hold the light, to remind you that every step carries meaning. Her gift is not certainty, but guidance. The assurance that whatever path you take, you are still seen, still cared for. In myths, Hecate walked with Persephone when she returned from the underworld each spring. She carried torches before her, guiding the young goddess back into the sunlight, back to her mother's arms. In this, Hecate became not just a guide of endings, but also of returns. She held the cycle of descent and ascent, of darkness and light, of grief and renewal. Close your eyes and imagine this journey, a dark cave opening into the earth. Persephone walking upward, her steps slow but steady, and there, beside her, Hecate, her torches glowing like twin stars, leading her home. The air shifts, the soil gives way to green fields, and the morning sun touches their faces. Such is the rhythm of all things. The night gives way to dawn, the lost find their way again. The goddess of shadows was also a goddess of comfort. For those who grieved, she stood close, holding her flame in the silence. For those who felt uncertain, she gave courage to walk forward. For those who faced the unknown, she reminded them that the unknown itself is part of the sacred. Her shadows are not emptiness, but rest. They are the soft cover under which seeds sleep, the quiet shelter in which dreams grow. To walk with her is not to fear the dark, but to know it as part of the whole, a place where the soul can breathe. Now, imagine yourself at the crossroads once more. The three paths stretch before you, silent and dark. Hecate lifts her torches and their glow reaches the edges of the night. You feel her presence beside you, not commanding, not pressing, but gentle, protective. You may walk any path, and whichever you choose, her light will follow. The air is calm. The ground is steady. Your breath is slow, as though you are in rhythm with the turning of the stars. The torches flicker, then soften, their flames becoming like the shimmer of fireflies in the distance. The goddess fades back into shadow, yet the sense of her remains, like a hand at your back, a whisper of strength in your heart. The night deepens further. The crossroads grows still. You lie back upon the earth, the stars glowing above, endless and patient. The world feels whole, bound together by silence and light. You close your eyes, carried by the steady breath of the earth, by the gentle memory of the Mother of Shadows, who stands always at the edge, guiding, holding, keeping watch. Let the torches burn within your dreams. Let the crossroads open into calm pathways. Let the night embrace you as you drift, slowly, into the comfort of sleep. Now rest as the stars return. Now drift as the goddess keeps her watch. Now sleep, held in the arms of shadow and light. The night drapes itself across the land like a soft woven cloak. The stars gleam gently above, steady as watchful eyes. In the distance, fields rest under the silver touch of moonlight. The earth is quiet now, yet beneath the soil, seeds breathe, hidden and alive. You walk along a narrow path that curves between tall stalks of grain. Their golden heads bend with the whisper of the night wind, brushing against one another like soft voices in prayer. The air carries the scent of earth after harvest, warm and comforting like the memory of bread. At the far end of the field, a low stone temple waits. Its pillars are simple, its walls touched with moss. A faint glow flickers within, as though many candles are waiting, their flames calling you closer. This is the place of the guardians of grain, the priestesses of Demeter, who kept the wisdom of the seasons. The ancients looked to Demeter as mother of fields and bringer of bread. Her gifts were not only food, but the rhythm of life itself: seed, growth, harvest, rest, and return. Her priestesses guarded this rhythm with chants, offerings, and festivals that carried whole cities into song. Step closer now and see them as they move within the temple. Their garments are plain but radiant, dyed in soft greens and deep golds. Their hair is bound with simple bands of wheat. Their arms carry baskets of fruit, honey, and grain. They sing as they move, their voices low and flowing, like streams winding through the hills. The song is not for glory, but for balance, for keeping the turning of the earth in harmony with the human heart. In the heart of the temple rests a round altar. Upon it lie loaves of bread, olives glistening in oil, and pomegranates split open to reveal jeweled seeds. The scent of warm wheat fills the chamber, mingling with the smoke of sweet herbs. The priestesses gather around, their hands lifted, their words rising together in soft waves. They speak not of fear, but of gratitude. They give thanks for the fields that yield, for the rains that soften the soil, for the sun that ripens each grain. Their words float upward, carried through the open roof, vanishing into the quiet sky. Outside, the fields rest, but within the temple the season still breathes. This moment is not harvest, not planting, but the breath between, the stillness where memory and hope meet. To honor Demeter was to honor both life and loss. The cycle of grain is the cycle of all things: growth, cutting, falling, rising again. The priestesses knew this truth not as sorrow, but as rhythm. They taught that every ending holds the seed of a beginning, just as the cut stalks promise new shoots, just as the winter fields dream of spring. Imagine them teaching now, their voices soft as the crackling of a fire. One speaks of the seed, small, fragile, yet containing the world. Another speaks of the soil, dark, quiet, the place of both rest and birth. A third speaks of the harvest, the time of plenty, but also of letting go. Each voice is like a thread, weaving the pattern of life into a cloth both simple and eternal. The Eleusinian mysteries, sacred rites in Demeter's honor, were held in silence. The priestesses guided those who came, leading them through darkness into light, through fear into peace. The details were never spoken, but those who took part carried home a deep calm, a certainty that death was not an end, but a passage, as natural as the setting of the sun. In the temple tonight, imagine such a rite unfolding in stillness. A lamp flickers in the dark. A hand places a seed into waiting soil. A chant rises, slow and steady, wrapping the heart in safety. You do not need to know the words. You only need to feel the rhythm, like waves against a quiet shore. The priestesses tended more than the fields. They also tended hearts. When a child was born, they blessed the cradle with grain. When someone passed away, they scattered seeds upon the grave, a promise that life would return in another form. When families gathered to eat, they reminded them to break bread slowly with gratitude, for every crumb carried the labor of earth, sun, rain, and time. Every gesture was gentle, yet every gesture carried the weight of eternity. In the simple breaking of bread, they saw the cycle of worlds. Step again into the fields outside the temple. The wind has stilled now. The stalks stand tall, silent as statues, each one holding a story of soil and sun. Above them, the stars shine brighter, as though listening. The priestesses walk among the rows, each holding a small lantern. Their flames swing gently, spilling golden circles onto the ground. They bend low, touching the soil, whispering blessings into the earth. It is not a prayer for plenty alone, but a prayer for balance, for the world to turn as it should, for the seasons to move gently, for the people to walk in harmony with what grows. You follow their movement in silence. The rhythm of their steps is slow, steady, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. In myth, Demeter's grief over her daughter Persephone brought winter. The world grew barren, fields lay empty, and frost covered the ground. Yet when Persephone returned, Demeter's joy brought spring, and the earth bloomed once more. The priestesses carried this story not as sorrow, but as hope. They taught that the earth rests as it mourns, then blooms as it heals. They whispered that every absence is followed by a return. Even in the deepest cold, the seed waits for warmth. Even in the darkest night, dawn prepares its light. In the hush of the temple, this story is told again. The words fall like falling leaves, gentle, unhurried, wrapping the listener in calm assurance that all things move in their time. Imagine now a harvest festival in the goddess's honor. The air is cool, filled with the scent of baked bread and roasted grain. Families gather in circles, lanterns hung in trees, music rising soft and slow. Children laugh, their voices like bells, while elders pour wine upon the ground in offering. The priestesses stand at the center, their arms lifted, their songs weaving through the night. But the celebration is not wild. It is calm, reverent, like waves moving upon a shore. It is joy without hurry, gratitude without need. Each smile is a prayer, each gesture a blessing. Even the stars seem to join, their light bending lower, as if they too are part of the feast. You return once more to the temple. The candles burn lower now, their wax pooling in soft circles. The priestesses rest in silence, seated near the altar, their faces serene. The baskets of fruit and bread remain, untouched, glowing in the quiet light. It is time to drift back, to let the memory of this place settle gently into the heart. The song of the priestesses still lingers, like the hush after rain. The scent of grain, of earth, of warm bread remains soft and grounding. The night is calm. The fields are endless. The stars are steady. Now let the guardians of grain fade into dream. Let their lanterns become fireflies. Their chants become the rhythm of your own breath. Feel the earth beneath you, strong and gentle. Feel the air around you, cool and protective. You are part of the cycle, safe within its turning. Let us drift onward now. The harvest is gathered. The fields rest. The night deepens, carrying you into the soft embrace of sleep. Now rest as the stars return. Now drift as the grain bends in the night wind. Now sleep, held by the eternal rhythm of earth and sky. The night opens before you, wide and endless. The stars stretch across the dark sky like tiny embers scattered on velvet. The air is still, save for the soft rustle of leaves, the faint murmur of water flowing far away. You drift along a quiet path, and each step carries you deeper into time itself. Ahead rises a cave, its mouth shadowed, its walls kissed with moss. A faint glow trembles within, not firelight, but something older, something that feels like breath itself. The air carries the weight of whispers, soft, unbroken, as though voices have lingered here for centuries. This is the dwelling of the Sibyls, women who spoke for the unseen, women whose words flowed like streams from another world. The Sibyls were scattered across ancient lands. Some lived by the sea, where waves sang against stone. Others lived by rivers, where reeds bent to the wind. Some kept their watch in high mountains, their caves touched by snow. Wherever they lived, they carried the same gift, the voice that bridged silence and speech, the breath that joined mortal and divine. People traveled great distances to hear them, kings seeking guidance, wanderers seeking hope, dreamers seeking signs. All would come with offerings, flowers, honey, coins laid upon the earth. And the Sibyls would listen, not with haste, but with patience, as though waiting for the winds themselves to answer. Imagine stepping into the cave of Cumae, where the Cumaean Sibyl once dwelled. The air is cool, thick with the scent of earth and stone. Long corridors stretch forward, carved by hands long forgotten, their walls echoing the faint drip of water. In the distance, a torch glows faintly, and beside it sits a woman, her face lined with time, her hair falling like shadows around her shoulders. She does not look at you, yet she knows you are there. Her lips move with words too soft to catch, as though she speaks not to you, but to the air itself. The flame flickers, the cave breathes, and her voice rises, slow, melodic, like wind curling through a hollow tree. Her words are not commands, not certainties, but images. She speaks of rivers and stones, of storms and calm seas, of seeds buried and blossoms rising. Her voice carries no urgency, only rhythm, like a tide that returns again and again. The Sibyls spoke in ways that were less about answers and more about pathways. Their visions were like woven cloths, each thread a symbol, each pattern a possibility. Those who listened were left to carry the words, to unfold them slowly, as one unravels a dream upon waking. Some said the Sibyls inhaled the breath of the earth, the vapors rising from stone and soil. Others believed they carried a fire within, a spark lit by the gods themselves. But to those who came, the truth mattered less than the voice. The voice itself was the bridge, steady and eternal. In Delphi, upon the slopes of Mount Parnassus, another Sibyl once spoke. There, at the temple of Apollo, the air shimmered with incense and song. The Pythia, as she was called, sat upon a sacred tripod, her body swaying gently as though moved by invisible winds. Her voice rose and fell, sometimes clear as crystal, sometimes broken into riddles and fragments. Her words, carried outward by priests, shaped the paths of empires, yet they always sounded like echoes of something older, softer, deeper. Imagine standing among the crowd that gathers there. The mountain air is crisp, the stones beneath your feet warm from the sun. You hear the distant cries of birds circling above, the hum of bees weaving through laurel leaves. Then her voice rises, thin at first, then full, like a flame catching wood. You close your eyes, and though you do not understand every word, you feel the cadence wash over you like waves smoothing the shore. The Sibyls did not shout their truths. They let them fall like rain, drop by drop. They did not chase listeners, but waited, still and patient, like trees rooted in silence. Their words were not possessions but gifts, given lightly, meant to be carried like seeds. In every land their presence was the same. A woman in stillness, a voice in shadows, a mystery both near and untouchable. She was a reminder that the world is larger than sight, that the air carries messages if one listens long enough. Think now of a Sibyl by the sea. Her cave opens onto a shore of dark stone. Waves crash below, sending spray into the air, tasting of salt and foam. She sits at the cave's mouth, her robe heavy with dampness, her hair curling with sea wind. As ships pass in the distance, she raises her hand, her voice carried outward. It is not a warning nor a blessing, but a chant that belongs to the water itself. Fishermen hear it in their dreams, travelers remember it upon waking. Her words are woven with the tide, her song lost and found with every returning wave. The Sibyls were not only voices of prophecy, they were keepers of balance, protectors of silence. Their caves and temples were not merely places of answers, but places of stillness, where hearts could rest and remember their place in the turning of time. To enter a Sibyl's dwelling was to leave the noise of the world behind. It was to feel the earth breathing beneath your feet, to hear the whisper of your own pulse in your ears. It was to understand that prophecy is not always about the future, but about the present, about listening deeply to the moment as it unfolds. Kings once bent low to hear the Sibyls, yet the Sibyls did not flatter them. Their words spoke of cycles, of rise and fall, of light and shadow, of the eternal balance that no crown could escape. Dreamers came seeking glory, yet left with visions of rivers and seeds, symbols reminding them that greatness is nothing without roots. Even the simplest wanderer, offering only a handful of grain, would leave with a sense of peace, as though the Sibyl's whisper had wrapped around their heart like a warm cloak. Legends tell of the Sibylline books, scrolls filled with sacred verses, guarded in Rome for centuries. They were consulted in times of crisis, their lines unrolled like threads of guidance. Yet even these were fragments, shadows of the living voices that once filled the caves. The books were words captured, but the Sibyls were voices breathing. The difference is the difference between a flame written upon paper and a flame flickering in the dark. Alive, moving, casting warmth. Close your eyes now and imagine standing again at the mouth of that cave. The stars glimmer above, the night air cool and steady. From within, you hear a single note, low and soft, drawn out like the sound of wind across stone. It is not prophecy for a king, nor a warning for an empire. It is a lullaby for the earth itself, a sound that soothes, that binds, that lingers. The Sibyl's voice carries outward, brushing your skin like the lightest of winds. Her words blur into rhythm, into breath, until they are no longer words at all, but simply presence. The cave breathes, the earth breathes, and you breathe with it. Now, let her voice fade gently, as though it becomes part of your own dreaming. Let the caves close, the torches dim, the waves recede. The Sibyls remain eternal, their whispers carried in the folds of the night air. Their voices are the wind through leaves, the hush of water over stone, the quiet reminder that all paths are known, all journeys guided. Let us drift onward now. The voices grow soft, softer still until they are only silence. And in that silence, peace settles like dew. Now rest as the stars return. Now drift as the caves close around their secrets. Now sleep carried by the voices of the Sibyls, gentle as the wind of eternity. The night opens slowly. The air is cool and the sky is deep with silver stars. The earth breathes with a quiet rhythm, as though the soil itself rests under a veil of peace. Candles glow inside temple walls. Soft smoke drifts upward, carrying the scent of resins and flowers. And within this hushed world, the story unfolds. You stand at the threshold of ancient sanctuaries. Stone pillars rise around you, worn smooth by centuries of prayers. Their shadows stretch long across marble floors, like gentle fingers pointing toward mystery. Torches flicker. Their flames are soft, not fierce, as if they too have been tamed for the night. Listen. Somewhere beyond the courtyard, faint songs drift. Low, melodic, unhurried. Voices of women, voices of devotion. They sing to the goddess of love. They sing to the spirit of union. Each word floats into the night like petals on a calm stream. The sacred brides are gathering. They come barefoot. Their steps light against the cool stone. Garlands crown their hair, woven from lilies and roses. The scent of jasmine follows them, blending with the warmth of burning cedar. Each carries a small lamp, its glow trembling, steady, like a star held close to the chest. They are brides not of men alone, but of the divine itself. They belong to the mystery of love made holy, from the temples of Ishtar in the east to the sanctuaries of Aphrodite by the sea. Their lives were threads in the fabric of devotion. They offered themselves not as possessions, but as bridges between the human and the eternal. In their rites, love was more than desire. It was prayer. It was a pathway through which mortals touched eternity. Every embrace was blessing. Every union was an offering. Through them, people remembered that joy itself could be sacred. The music deepens. Drums beat softly like the rhythm of a steady heart. Flutes release long sighs of sound, falling like cool rain across the courtyard. The brides sway, their movements slow, like reeds bending in the wind. Every gesture speaks of tenderness. Every glance holds the shimmer of peace. The goddess receives them. She is unseen, yet her presence flows everywhere. In the tremble of the lamps, in the hush of the stars, in the warmth that fills the still night. Those who enter her temple do not leave the same. They leave lighter, gentler, as though touched by the wings of doves. Some say the sacred brides healed the lonely. Others say they blessed harvests and families, and still others whispered that they guarded the balance of heaven and earth. For wherever there was love without fear, the world became whole again. You walk deeper into the temple now. Columns surround you like a forest of stone. At the center lies an altar. Upon it rests fruit, bread, honey, and bowls of milk left shining in the torchlight. The offerings are simple, yet they glow with the weight of devotion. The brides kneel before the altar. They touch the earth with their hands and lift their palms toward the sky, as if weaving heaven and earth together in silence. Their voices rise once more. The song is soft, almost a whisper, but it carries power. It winds through the air like incense. It circles the heart like a gentle embrace. It tells of love as medicine. It tells of love as light. It tells of love as the breath that keeps creation alive. In the quiet corners of the temple, you see people arriving. Some come with sadness, their hearts heavy with grief. Some come with longing, their spirits restless as waves. And some come simply seeking peace. The sacred brides meet each one with open hands. No judgment, no fear, only presence. They sit beside the weary, rest their heads upon bowed shoulders and remind them of softness. They smile at those who ache, and in that smile is the warmth of the sun. Through touch, through listening, through stillness, they awaken something forgotten, a reminder that each soul is worthy of love. The stories of these women passed quietly through time. Some were celebrated as priestesses. Some were hidden, misunderstood. But beneath every telling lies the same truth. They kept alive the flame of sacred union. They carried within them the echo of the goddess. They showed that the body itself could be a temple of blessing. You rest now in that temple. The stone is cool beneath your feet. The torches are steady. The brides move slowly, like constellations in human form. Their steps trace invisible patterns, their voices weaving invisible veils. Everything here flows like a dream, soft, circular, endless. Breathe with them. The air carries spice and sweetness. The drums echo a rhythm as old as birth. The stars lean close, as though listening to the quiet songs below. Every sound is gentle. Every movement is calm. Every thought drifts like smoke, rising higher, disappearing into the night sky. The temple grows quieter. The lamps are lowered. The last notes of song linger like dew. One by one, the brides fold into silence, their forms resting like shadows against stone. Only the faint crackle of flame remains, a reminder that the divine is still near. And so the story closes, not with endings, but with continuations. The sacred brides still live in the tenderness of every embrace, in the kindness of every word, in the healing that comes when one heart touches another. They remain, whispering softly through the centuries, reminding all who listen that love itself is holy. Now the temple fades. The torches dim. The voices dissolve into night. You drift beneath the canopy of stars once more. The earth is still. The air is calm. And the story lays itself down like a blanket around you. Rest, for the brides keep their vigil. Rest, for the goddess breathes in silence. Rest as love watches over you. Let us drift onward, into the next dream, into the next story, into the soft embrace of night. The night in the north is vast. The air is clear, crisp, and still. Above the dark horizon, the sky glows with the slow dance of the northern lights. Green, silver, and pale violet shimmer like veils across the heavens. They drift and weave, as though unseen hands are painting the sky with light. Snow lies quiet upon the earth. Each flake rests in silence, forming a soft blanket across fields and hills. The forests stand watch, tall and dark, their branches heavy with frost. In this land, where nights can stretch long as months, the world feels endless, timeless, eternal. And within this frozen stillness, there are voices. They rise not with shout or song, but with whispers, chants, soft as the wind. The voices belong to the mothers of the north. Wise women, keepers of secrets, holders of runes, weavers of fate. They gather in halls warmed by firelight. Flames crackle in long stone hearths. Smoke rises, carrying the scent of pine and peat. Around them, carved beams glow in amber hues, their surfaces etched with spirals, animals, and stars. The women sit close, cloaked in furs and wool, their hair braided with beads and bone. In their hands, they hold runes carved upon wood or stone. Small, simple marks, yet each line carries weight, a whisper of destiny, a fragment of divine order. They do not force the runes to speak, they listen. They let the symbols reveal what is hidden, like rivers showing the way to the sea. The mothers know that fate is not one thread alone. It is a tapestry, each life a strand, each choice a knot woven together into patterns vast and unseen. They teach that even the gods walk upon these threads. Even the mighty cannot escape the weaving. And so, with calm voices, they chant. Their words rise and fall like the sea. They speak in rhythms that echo the heartbeat of the earth. Each syllable is a breath, a bridge between the mortal and the eternal. Outside, the auroras pulse with their chants, as if sky itself is listening, as if heaven joins the song. Travelers seek them, warriors before battle, kings before oaths, mothers before birth. They come not for certainty, but for guidance, for comfort, for the reminder that life is held in hands greater than their own. The mothers do not command. They do not claim power for themselves. They reveal only what the threads allow, sometimes a vision of sorrow, sometimes a glimpse of joy, but always, always a reminder that no path is walked alone. Legends tell that far above the earth, in the roots and branches of the world tree, 3 Norns dwell, Urd, Verdandi, and Skuld, past, present, and what may yet come. The mothers of the north were seen as their reflections upon earth, mortal women who, for a time, carried the echoes of the Norns in their voices. By firelight, they pass their wisdom on. You see them teaching daughters, guiding young hands to carve the runes, to listen to the silence between sounds, to feel the gentle pull of unseen currents. They remind the young that strength is not in force, but in patience, in clarity, in the courage to accept what comes. Outside, the winter deepens. The moon rises pale and watchful. Its light glimmers across frozen lakes, turning the ice into glass. Wolves howl in the distance, their voices rolling across the snow like ancient drums. But inside, the mothers keep their steady vigil. Their words protect more than halls. They guard the spirit of the people, holding them close when the nights grow long. When storms rage, when ships vanish upon restless seas, when fields lie barren under heavy frost, the chants of the mothers rise louder, not to fight the storm, but to remind hearts that storms too shall pass. They weave courage into the air so that even in fear, people feel the presence of love. Their wisdom is simple, yet deep. They say all things move in cycles, day into night, winter into spring, death into life again. They say no pain is endless, no joy is wasted. Everything has its place in the pattern, and this truth soothes like a blanket upon weary souls. You sit with them now, feeling the warmth of the fire, hearing the steady rhythm of their chants. Their voices seem to slow your breath. Each word falls like snow, soft and soundless. Each sound folds into the next, like waves resting upon a shore. The runes lie upon the wooden table. One stone glimmers in the firelight. Its mark speaks not of fear, not of demand, but of journey. A reminder that every step taken is part of a greater path. A reminder that your own thread, too, is woven into the vast design. The women close their eyes. They breathe deeply, as though drawing the aurora into their lungs. For a moment, silence falls. Only the crackle of flame remains, only the sigh of wind against the walls. And then, gently, they release their breath. Long, slow, peaceful. The fire steadies. The room glows softer, and calm fills every corner. The northern lights stretch across the sky still. Their colors shift and fade like drifting silk. The stars above blink quietly, patient, eternal, unchanging. And the mothers rest. Their voices fall silent, but the echo of their chants lingers in the air, a lullaby without end. It is said that when the aurora shimmers, the mothers of the north are near, that the sky itself carries their songs, that the colors are threads, woven by unseen hands, reminding the living that fate is never cruel, only mysterious, only deep, only flowing onward. And so the story softens, like snow falling upon closed eyes. The hall grows dim, the fire sinks to embers, the voices fade into memory, and you drift with them, wrapped in warmth, surrounded by peace. Rest now, as the northern lights shimmer above you. Rest as the threads of fate weave gently around your soul. Rest, for the mothers of the north keep their watch in silence. Let us drift onward, into the next dream, into the next chapter, into the stillness of night. The night is hushed. A quiet veil rests upon the hills and valleys of Europe. The air is cool, carrying the faint perfume of pine, earth, and dew. In the stillness, old shrines stand, their stones darkened by centuries, their steps worn smooth by the touch of countless pilgrims. Inside these shrines, shadows linger soft against the walls. Candles flicker in steady lines, their flames leaning and swaying as if whispering to one another. The light is golden, but it does not chase away the dark. Instead, it folds into it, like dawn slowly blending with night. At the heart of many of these chapels stands a figure. Her face is dark, carved in wood or painted in colors deep as soil. Her eyes hold a steady gentleness. Some say sorrow rests in them, others say comfort, but always they carry mystery. She is called the Black Madonna. Her presence is quiet yet strong. She's not golden like the saints of bright mosaics. She is not pale as morning marble. She is shaded, like earth after rain, like stone warmed by fire, like the fertile soil from which new life grows. Her darkness is not absence. It is depth. It is richness. It is the mystery of love that holds both pain and peace. For centuries, people have walked to her shrines. Men and women, children and elders. Some arrived weary from journeys across mountains. Some came with heavy hearts, their steps guided by prayers they could not even speak aloud. Others came in joy, to give thanks for blessings already received. They came with candles, with flowers, with whispered songs. They knelt before her, touching the stone floors, pressing their foreheads into the quiet. In her presence they felt both seen and embraced. She carried their sorrow without judgment. She returned their silence with peace. Legends arose around her. Some say her color comes from the smoke of candles, darkened by the centuries of flame. Others say it is older still, a sign of the earth itself, a sign of mystery too deep for reason to name. But whatever the story, her face remained, dark, steady, unchanging, welcoming all who came. In her gentle eyes, people found a mother. Not only a mother of one child, but a mother of all. Her gaze seemed to stretch beyond borders and languages, beyond the walls of stone and the measure of time. She held every pilgrim as if they were her own. To some she gave comfort, to others healing, to all a reminder that love can carry both shadow and light. The Black Madonna became a symbol of resilience. In villages struck by hunger, she was prayed to for bread. In towns touched by sickness, she was called upon for health. In times of war, her face was lifted in hope for peace. She did not promise an end to suffering, but she promised presence within it. A quiet hand upon the shoulder, a gentle whisper in the darkest night. Her shrines were built in caves, in forests, upon hillsides. Some were small, little more than a single room with a wooden image. Others rose into vast cathedrals, their ceilings stretching like sky, their stones echoing with choirs. But no matter the size, the heart was always the same. Her quiet, shadowed face, her gaze steady and kind. Pilgrims told of miracles. A child's fever fading overnight. A traveler saved from storm when he called her name. A field once barren returning to bloom. Perhaps these stories were woven from hope. Perhaps they were woven from truth. But in either way, they carried the same spirit, that the Madonna of Shadows was near, and she heard the cries of those who turned to her. She was not only a figure of comfort, but of deep mystery. Her darkness reminded many of the hidden places of the soul, the places where sorrow rests, where questions live unanswered, where grief hides, waiting for light. She reminded them that even in those places, love still dwells. Even in shadow there can be holiness. The mothers of villages prayed to her. They asked her to watch over their children. The sick prayed to her, seeking her touch of mercy. Travelers prayed before setting out, asking her to guide their steps. Even kings, with crowns heavy upon their brows, knelt low before her, knowing that her power was not of thrones, but of love deeper than all crowns. Her image often held a child in her arms. The child rested against her, safe, quiet, at peace. In this, many saw themselves. They too were the child, cradled in arms that never let go. No matter how far they wandered, no matter how heavy the burden they carried, they were held. Sometimes her face was stern, her eyes piercing as though seeing the soul itself. Other times she appeared tender, her lips curved in the smallest of smiles. But always there was strength, the kind of strength that does not need to shout, the strength of mountains, the strength of earth, the strength of a love that bends but does not break. As centuries passed, her shrines became threads woven across Europe. From Spain to Poland, from France to the far edges of the East, her dark face appeared in many forms, each one different, yet each one carrying the same presence. A mother of shadow and light, standing close to those who sought her. You may picture one now, a small chapel hidden among trees. The air smells of moss and stone. Inside, candles line the altar, their flames steady in the stillness. And there she is, her dark face illuminated by soft glow. Her eyes seem to meet yours, calm, unhurried, infinite. You feel the hush of the room around you. You hear only the faint sound of wax dripping, the low sigh of wind beyond the walls. And you sense, in the depth of your chest, that you are safe, that you are seen, that love surrounds you like a blanket, warm, silent, and enduring. The Black Madonna does not demand words. She does not require speech or song. It is enough to simply be present, to rest in her quiet gaze, to let her shadowed face remind you that even the darkest places of life can hold the brightest flame of love. Her mystery is not meant to be solved. It is meant to be embraced, like night sky above the earth, like the deep sea beneath the waves. It does not need to explain itself. It simply is, and in its being, it brings peace. So now, in the soft rhythm of night, let the Black Madonna's story linger in you. Let her shadow remind you that all shadows can be holy. Let her gentle eyes cradle your thoughts, like a mother rocking her child. Breathe slowly and rest within her calm. The candles in the shrine grow low. The flames flicker, then settle. The air cools, wrapping around the stones. Outside, the stars stretch wide, glittering in the silence. The night deepens, but the presence of the Black Madonna remains steady as the earth, quiet as the breath of love itself. Now rest as the stars return. Rest as her gaze keeps watch over you. Rest, for in her shadow there is only peace. Let us drift onward, into the next dream, into the next song of the night. The night deepens, and silence spreads across the hills. Stars shine softly like pearls scattered on dark velvet. In the stillness, there is a sound, not loud, not sharp, but steady, low, and timeless. It is the rhythm of voices. It is the circle of women. They have gathered in many places across lands and centuries. In temples of stone, in meadows open to the sky, in quiet homes lit by firelight. Always they gather in circles. Always their hands, their songs, their hearts move together like waves meeting the shore. The circle has no beginning and no end. One voice joins another, one hand holds another, one story carries into the next. The circle is eternal. It glows like a ring of embers, never fully burning out, always waiting to be rekindled. In ancient temples, women lifted their voices in chant. Their words rose like incense, drifting upward into the night. Some sang to goddesses of earth and moon. Some sang to spirits of water and fire. Some sang not to anyone at all, but to life itself. Their songs carried healing, woven into every note, into every breath. In the circle there was no one higher, no one lower. All were equal. All were part of the same thread. The elder sat beside the young, the quiet soul beside the strong one. Each was held. Each was seen. The circle allowed all to belong. They wove together, not only cloth, but dreams, memories, and prayers. Threads of color stretched between their fingers, and with each knot, with each turn, they tied the stories of their people. A cloak for the newborn, a garment for the traveler, a blanket for the dying. Every thread carried love, every stitch carried care. By firelight, the women shared stories. Some stories were of joy, of births, of weddings, of the laughter of children. Others were of sorrow, of hunger, of loss, of long nights endured in silence. But in the circle, no story was carried alone. Every voice was heard. Every tear was gathered like water in a sacred bowl. The circle was also a place of healing. Herbs were ground into powders. Leaves were steeped into teas. Hands pressed gently against weary shoulders, against aching brows. Prayers were whispered over the sick, like lullabies for the body and soul. Healing did not always mean curing. Sometimes it meant comfort. Sometimes it meant simply sitting beside another and sharing their breath until the pain grew softer. The women sang as they worked. Their songs were slow, like rivers moving through valleys. Their melodies wrapped around those who listened, like a shawl across the shoulders. Even now, if you close your eyes, you may hear it. A faint humming in the distance, a tune too ancient for words, a song too deep to forget. The circle of women was also a circle of guardians. They watched the hearths. They tended the fires that never went out. In every age, they became keepers of warmth, not only of flame, but of love, of memory, of the spirit that holds families and villages together. Without their circles, much of the world would fall silent. With their circles, life kept glowing, soft and steady. Across the world, these circles looked different. In one land, women danced under the moon, their feet bare against the soil, their arms raised like branches. In another land, women prayed in whispers, their heads bowed, their lips moving with quiet devotion. In another, they wove baskets, their fingers moving with patience, each basket a gift of care. But no matter the place, the circle remained. Time moved on. Temples turned to ruins. Meadows became cities. The world changed its face again and again, but the circle of women did not vanish. It simply found new forms. You may see it today in women gathered around a kitchen table, sharing tea and laughter. You may see it in hospital rooms, where hands hold through pain, where whispers of strength are spoken. You may see it in quiet living rooms, where mothers sing softly to their children at night. The circle is not always visible, but it is always there. It continues, unbroken. At times, the circle appears even in silence. A woman sitting alone, her heart heavy, may close her eyes, and within her spirit, she feels it, the unseen circle around her, the presence of countless women before her, their songs still alive in the air, their prayers still echoing like gentle bells. This is the eternal circle. It carries strength. It carries memory. It carries the simple truth that love shared never disappears. It only moves forward from one hand to the next, from one heart to another. You are part of that circle too. Even if you sit alone, even if you lie quietly in bed, the circle surrounds you. Its voices hum in the distance. Its warmth rests upon your shoulders. Its glow is gentle but steady. The circle teaches patience. Like the moon, it waxes and wanes. Like the seasons, it turns and returns. It does not rush. It does not end. It simply flows, like breath moving in and out, like the tide coming and going. Close your eyes now and imagine it. The women gathered around a fire, their faces calm, their hands moving in rhythm. The flames flicker, casting soft shadows on the ground. Their voices rise, low and steady, carrying you deeper into rest. The fire glows, but it does not burn bright. It is warm, it is safe, it is quiet. The circle leans close around it, their presence forming a ring of light. You are within it. You are held. You are safe. The eternal circle is not only of the past. It is of now. It is of always. It waits for you. It surrounds you. It carries you through the long night. And as you drift, it whispers the oldest lullaby. You are not alone. You are never alone. The voices grow softer now. The circle leans back into the shadows. The fire dims, its embers glowing like quiet stars. The night stretches wide and peaceful. The breath of the earth is slow, like a mother rocking her child. Now rest as the circle of women continues its song. Rest as their hands weave dreams around you. Rest as their love holds you safe in the quiet night. Let us drift onward, into the silence, into the stars, into the next gentle dream.